Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Well, yesterday we got some very horrible news. At the same time, it was good in a morbid way because it kind of brings some closure to the question of where is Madeline Kingsbury. Her body was found yesterday, and then at that same point, her ex was arrested as well, the father of her children. But before we go into all of that and the charges and the press conference and the very creepy things that he was doing and photographed doing while people were searching for Madeline's body, yes, just wait on that. That's definitely worth waiting for. Let's go through the timeline of how this all went down so you can fully understand how this case is or where it's at. Madeline Kingsbury, she's a 26-year-old mother from southern Minnesota. She disappeared on March 31st of 2023 after dropping her children off at daycare. On April 1st, the Winona Police Department sought the public's help to locate her. And by April 5th, her disappearance was characterized as involuntary and suspicious by the Winona Police Chief, Tom Williams. A large search effort involving 1,800 people took place on April 7th, but failed to find Madeline. On April 12th, Adam Fravel, the father of Kingsbury's children, denied involvement in her disappearance through a statement from his attorneys. In this, he claimed that he had cooperated fully with the law enforcement and expressed his desire for Kingsbury to be found safe. By April 27th, Winona City officials were requesting property owners to aid in the search, asking them to report any old wells, homesteads, windmills, windmill bases, and sinkholes, and to mark their properties as searchable. I didn't know, what's up with windmills? Why is that?
I don't know.
Maybe there's a lot of windmills out there in that part of the country, and that is why there's more focus on that versus barns. I think that might be it.
But that's southern Minnesota, so I wonder if they're actual, out in the farm fields.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
I don't know if that's a more common thing. On May 5th, a community prayer vigil was held at the First Congregational Church in Winona, attended by Madeline's sorority sisters, family, and friends. Her father publicly spoke about the case for the first time, urging people to persist in their search and questioning. The Mississippi River was then searched on May 27th as water levels receded, but it did not yield any new leads. In legal proceedings, Fravel's petition for custody for his two children with Kingsbury, aged 2 and 5, was thankfully denied by the Winona County judge on June 6th. The children were ordered to stay with their maternal grandparents who had been caring for them since the beginning of April. Remember back at that time when they had to get the children out of his custody, that was a bit of a difficult moment where he refused to let them in to get the kids. Not letting him have them back has been a point of interest in this whole case. I've talked with a lot of people about it because he had not been charged with any sort of crime. He is the biological father. He had been living with them. For the children not to then be back with their father was kind of strange. Why is this? And he can't visit them, but there's no charges. On June 7th, human remains were discovered in some brush off Highway 43 near the town of Mabel, an area investigators have been focusing on as early as April. The discovery led to the arrest of Fravel, who was held at the Winona County Jail on suspicion of second-degree murder. The next day, June 8th, authorities confirmed the remains as those of Madeline Kingsbury, providing the grim resolution to that 2-month-long search. I don't think any of this happened in a vacuum. I think it's very much connected. They found a body, and they were waiting for that to connect him to it. How exactly they did that, I'm guessing there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we do not know.
Yeah, there is. Earlier today, I found a picture on Twitter, and this is Twitter talking, so I don't know how much we can put stock into this, but it was somebody commenting that he had never helped with any of the search. And as a matter of fact, he had been harassing people who were searching for her. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but somebody did snap a photo of him kind of coming up behind a search vehicle. It almost looked like he was angry.
Yeah, it looked a little bit bizarre. Certainly, if this random person in a beanie comes up to you on the side of the road, and oh my gosh, it's the guy that was the significant other of the missing woman, and he's all by himself and he's acting kind of weird. That would be a bit of a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm wondering about more, and certainly that is creepy as hell, is how else have they connected him to the body? At this point, she's been under brush and not in a very good place. We've seen winter weather there. We've seen spring weather there. And now we're getting into summer weather. I'm guessing the body was probably not in the greatest of shape in terms of decomposition and such. So to immediately be able to say, okay, we found the body, now we're going to get you, there's going to be more to it. What I'm wondering is with him, I'm sure they've been looking into his cell phone data, trying to see where he's been, what time he's been different places. And it will be very interesting to see what that reveals of his connection to this small area about 40 miles outside of Winona where they found the body.
Yeah, I was actually in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is very close to, I mean, it's not incredibly close, but it's in, southern part of Wisconsin, close to southern Minnesota, kind of in the same vicinity. And people were terrified that maybe there was a serial killer on the loose. There was flooding from the Mississippi River at this time. So, people were hypothesizing that, boy, if you wanted to murder somebody and dump them, you certainly could, because the river was running so rapidly that you could dump a body and it would just be gone.
Yeah.
So this really took over a lot of the conversation in this community, and it was quite terrifying.
It does make you wonder how many people took anybody up on that offer of like, hey, that's true.
Right.
Maybe I should go do that.
Well, yeah.
I know they find many bodies in those rivers every single year, many from suicide, some from homicide, and identifying is not always the easiest. A little bit easier now with DNA, and if that DNA is on record anywhere. But it's good that they seem to have, they found the body, and we also now have a suspect in custody. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out and what the true evidence is against Adam Fravel. In the press conference that took place yesterday, they declined to comment on anything about the ongoing investigation until they're ready, because they didn't want to compromise anything. Still very much, I think, trying to work some details out and trying to figure out exactly what the connection here is with Adam, who is innocent until proven guilty. And as of right now, we don't really know of many true connections to him and the alleged murder, but that I'm sure will be coming in the coming days. They likely had something strong enough to arrest him on, although you should make note that it is second degree suspicion of murder, not first degree. That is typically normal how these sort of things would happen until they can press charges further. It may get upgraded to first degree, depending on what we know. For all we know, honestly, with this, there could have been just a horrible accident, and he was freaked out and didn't know what to do. And some people, when that happens, they go and hide the body. A crime, without a doubt, and should definitely be charged. But until we know more, it's just hard to really speculate on what were his whereabouts. What kind of person was he leading up to all these horrible events taking place?
Yeah, it's a great point. We just don't know. We just don't know.
But we'll, of course, keep you up to date on this case and continue to monitor it as it continues to develop.
Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Going to weigh in on any of the stories we follow for you. The phone number 888-5-KILLER, 888-554-5537 to weigh in. We would love to hear from you. I'm Tony Brueski. Stay with us.